What up, everybody? Sorry, we're gonna be a little messy today. So we're gonna get into Tyson Fury against Alexander slash Alexander Usyk, and who's the champion and who's a traitor. Now, before you want to crucify me, before you want to throw me out the window and everything like that, I have to say I myself am Ukrainian. I myself am a boxer. I boxed since the age of 4. I competed since the age of 10. But anyway, man, so when I was a kid, man, the only thing I was dreaming of is to see a heavyweight world champion. And then we got the Klitschko brothers, and they were super boring. They destroyed the division. But anyway, man, today we're talking about Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Now, Alexander or Alexander, which there's no such thing as Alexander, man. It's just us Ukrainians. We wanted everything to have everything of our own, so we changed the A to an O and made it Alexander. There's no such thing. It's Alexander is Alexander. Alex is Alex, right? There's no Olex. So back in 2014, when the civil war in eastern Ukraine in the Donbass region started, a lot of people such as Alexander Usyk, he moved from Crimea, Krim, to the territorial Ukraine, because Crimea was no longer under the Ukrainian rule. So whatever, he moved, and since 2014, for all those years, every time he was interviewed, he was asked about the situation. He said, look, man, we are all brothers and sisters, Russians and Ukrainians. We are all Orthodox, which is actually Pravoslav, but anyway, that's a whole other topic. And he even did like this religious Orthodox movie where he emphasized again that, look, we are Slavs. I never seen the difference between Russians and Ukrainians. We are all one people, man. So I'm looking at it like, cool, man. At least, he's not spreading hatred. He's not being a tool for somebody else, man. We're not going to get into who that is. But anyway, so in 2022, when the conflict grew to an international scale and Russia actually, came over the border to Ukraine and things like that, all of a sudden, what am I seeing? I'm in America, I'm Ukrainian, but what am I seeing? I'm seeing Lomachenko and Usyk in the Ukrainian Armed Forces uniforms, man. So I'm sitting here for like even though I know how corrupt the Ukrainian government is. I know that they're not really fighting for the people or anything like that, but still, man, imagine, I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, man, what kind of man am I? Even Usyk, even Lomachenko, man, they have so much to lose, but yet look at them. They're out there. They're fighting for their country, man. So I'm getting in touch with people in Ukraine. I'm asking them, I'm like, listen, man, are these dudes really fighting? Guys are looking at me like, man, look, relax, man. Of course, no one is going to let these dudes do any fighting, man. Their arms and their legs are insured for millions of dollars. So I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, dude, why did they do this, man? Who made them do this, man? And we're not talking about Lomachenko right now. We're talking about Usyk in particular. I'm like, who made him do this, man? Is he working for the man up there, man? Is he really making this PR commercial move so poor young Ukrainians can go and fight for no cause? Because there is no cause. Ukraine is one of the most corrupt governments in the world ever, man. So I'm like, bro, he could have done so much good things. He could have got in touch with his fans in Russia, which he has a huge fan base in Russia, man. He could have started talking to those people. What does he do, man? He instead is starting to work for somebody up there, man, Zelensky or somebody, and he's doing this commercial PR move in order to get, again, these poor Ukrainian boys to go and die for nothing, man. So I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, is Usyk really selling out like this? And what do we know? In about 6 months after he does this whole PR move, all of a sudden we hear, oh, he's fighting Dillinger White, I think it was. And he has to leave Ukraine, even though legally in Ukraine, a man that is within the legal age of being mobilized, he cannot legally leave. I think I said legal like a bunch of times. Even until today, man. 25 and up, you cannot leave. But what do we know? Usyk, he leaves because he has to fight. He's going to do so much better. He's going to help and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever, man. But what does he do really, man? He leaves, and instead, being quiet or talking to his Russian fans or anything like that, trying to bring peace, what does he do? He all of a sudden turns into this true Ukrainian. He starts speaking Ukrainian for what reason? I don't know, because Crimea, Krim, it's always been Russian, man. They always spoke Russian, and it's fine. His mom is Russian, his dad is Russian, it's fine. But what do we know? Usyk is all of a sudden, he's like this champion for NATO, and he's dressing in Ukrainian Cossack like attire and stuff, and he's doing like this whole masquerade, man. And I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, bro, did you really sell out like that? And I'm talking to my wife and I'm asking, I'm like, well, if you really think about it, he has sponsors in America, and all his money is tied to the West, basically. I'm like, what would I do in that situation? Now I wouldn't be able to, keep quiet. I would still have to be true to myself, but I gotta, kind of feed my family and everything. I don't know what I would do in that situation. But I'm like, bro, you could at least stay quiet, bro. Just stay quiet, man. You know what I'm saying? You want to help Ukraine, but don't make it into this whole masquerade that all of a sudden you're Alexander, not Alexander. All of a sudden you're speaking Ukrainian. All of a sudden you remember that you have some kind of Cossack roots and stuff like that, man. So whatever. So another 6 months go by. What do we know? Lomachenko leaves because he has to fight. Now, Lomachenko actually does the right thing, because when the Ukrainian Orthodox Church was attacked, I mean, this was terrible, man. This was, priests and monks and everything were thrown out of the monasteries. It was just terrible, man. At least Lomachenko stands up for his faith. He stands up for the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, because there's majority of the fighters in Ukraine are Orthodox, man. They're still in the field. They're still dying, man. So, but what about Usyk? Usyk says nothing, bro. He's like, whatever, just let them, lock up those priests and those monks, and like, whatever, man. So I'm like, oh my goodness, man, I'm losing my mind. I'm like, I used to like Usyk, man. I want to see him as the heavyweight roach. I'm like, what is going on, man? I start getting in touch with people in Ukraine and stuff like that, and Crimea. What do you know? Usyk's mom, remember, Usyk left Crimea, Krim in 2014. He went to, mainland, Kyiv. But his mom stayed in Crimea. So I'm like, what is going on, man? And what are people telling me? They're telling me, look, Usyk still has businesses in Crimea, in Krim. So he's making money in Russia. He still has finances tied in Russia, man. But what is he telling all of us? And what is he telling the poor young Ukrainian boy? Like, look, man, we're all enemies and stuff. And, you go and die, man. While I'm over here in the West, I'm going to do these boxing fights and stuff. And I'm going to keep it all in the hush-hush. And I'm going to pretend like I'm super Ukrainian, man. What do y'all think, man? So this is why this video was titled Champion or Traitor, man. Because Alexander, which in fact is Alexander, don't argue with me, I'm Ukrainian, is in fact a traitor, man. He's working for Zelensky or whoever, man, to get the poor young boys onto the battlefield, man, because they're running out of meat, while he himself has his wallet tied to Russia. His mom is still in Russia. He knows himself that he's Russian. His ancestors are Russian. His ancestors fought in World War II, like a lot of ours have, man. But he's telling that poor Ukrainian kid that, look, man, you go and die. And when this is all over, me and Zelensky are going to be in Florida somewhere, man, chilling, man. So Alexander Usyk is not a champion. He's a traitor, man. And who's going to win tomorrow? Some years ago, I made a video, who's the top heavyweight in our day? The only person that could beat Tyson Fury is Tyson Fury. And the only thing I'm kind of worried about, that he lost a little too much weight for this fight. He's going to come in at 260, I think. And he might be a little drained out, I think. I think he should have kept all his weight, should have kept that power, man. But again, the only person that can beat Tyson Fury is Tyson Fury. And I never get these fights wrong, man. You can check my track history. If you're gonna make a bet on Tyson Fury tomorrow becoming the new undisputed heavyweight world champion, man. The first one in the last 25 years. The boy deserves it. The boy is a giant. He moves like a middleweight. We never seen a fighter like him, man. He might go down as the greatest fighter of all time. Man. So anyway, this was NazareN, Food for Thought. Huge shout out to all of y'all. Let me know what y'all think, man. No hate, only love here, but you gotta keep it real. Uno,